Hello, today we're going to work with polymer clay. Right now I'm prepping a piece of glass from a cheap picture frame. I use isopropyl alcohol with a cotton swab to clean my work surface. I'll use Craftsmart polymer clay in the color beige and Super Sculpy Firm in the color gray. These are an example of other little gnomes I've made and finished. This one has a tiny cat. This is a flower gnome with a garden gazing ball. A little dinosaur. These are like little experimental pieces that I've tested out. Oh, the leg fell off my turtle. This was a Skillshare project that I was trying out to play with flower shapes. To get started, I'll use a piece of the gray scrap clay, and it needs to get all warmed up by hand. So you just squish it as much as possible until it has a good consistency, and you can just tell by feel. And then make a cylinder out of it for the little gnomie body. I don't really have any kind of tips and tricks here. I wing it. I do a lot of it by look and feel. I haven't mass made any of these, so I haven't measured or weighed out clay like you may have seen some other creators do. I'm going to use that beige polymer clay for the head and arms, and I just, again, eyeball an amount and start getting it warmed up to work with. The lighter color clays will show dirt so much easier. And instead of stopping to like clean it out, I just squished it in there. This is when I realized I don't have enough for the right size head. So I'm just gonna warm up another piece of clay and squish them together to make the head size and shape that I want. There we go. So I'll cut off the bottom portion just to give a flat base to go up against the body, and tap down like the cut edges to smooth them out, and then squish it together. Looks like a little peg doll from our childhood now. Once I'm pleased with the result, I'll use that piece we cut off of the bottom to then roll out a snake for the little arms. Again, just eyeballing like the length and messing with the clay until I get kind of the shape I want the arms to taper down. If it's a little too long, I can cut off a bit of the excess, which I'm taking from that shoulder area. If it wasn't long enough, I could have then rolled it a little bit more to make it longer. Now I can eyeball the second arm based off of the first one I've already created. And I have the scrap clay sitting on a small piece of wax paper, that way it doesn't stick to anything. And the arms here are basically just gently tapped into place. If I needed to move them, I could do so. We'll grab a piece of red scrap clay. I'd like this little gnomie to be holding a small heart. Same technique as the other pieces of clay, just to squish it between my fingers to get it warmed up. There was a little bit of another color, so I used my X-Acto blade to cut that out. And then I need to roll it into a ball and then squish one piece of it to taper it down for the bottom of the heart, and then use a needle tool to make the little indent. I completely forgot to stay in frame for this. I was really zoned in. I didn't like the size of this needle tool, so I pulled out my straight pin to get a smaller indent. This straight pin I've used since I started with polymer clay. That's why it's bent in that shape. It's pretty handy for a lot of different applications with polymer clay. Now I'll have the gnomie just gently hold it. I get finicky with placement because I want it to be just right. It needs to sit kind of like just below the chin or right at the chin level. And because red is a vibrant color, it stains your fingers, so I used my isopropyl alcohol swab to clean my fingers. Now I've got Sculpy III in black for the little tiny eyeballs, and I use a very small amount. Still need to warm up the clay like the rest of it. And then roll it into a ball and cut it in half, basically, to make each of the little tiny eyes. And then it's nice to put a little tiny indent where you want each eyeball to go. So I grabbed one of my ball tools, and I can also use that to place the eyes in those indents. Like so. And I simply tap them into place, and I wanted to make a little smirk. My gnomies generally get a smile or a smirk just pressed into the polymer clay. It's time for the hat. I pretty sure that I grabbed original Sculpy from a big pack. There was no label on the plastic. It's either original Sculpy or it's Sculpy III. And then I use a big ball tool for the head shape after rolling out a really long snake off the top of the hat. Before this ball tool, I used to just use my thumb to make the indent for the head. Gently peel it off, and that way I'm ready to set it on the gnome's head. I just take a little bit of time to figure out placement. It does not need to be perfect since these gnomes just live out in the wilderness, is their backstory. And then gently roll that long snake down into the little swirl shape. And it can go in any direction. I often do them to the left or right, but like the flower gnome in the background, I rolled it backwards. Just playing with shapes. I'm ready to blend the arms into the head and body. Almost any tool can be used for this. A ball tool, the needle point, or in this case, I grabbed one of my silicone tools. It's really soft, and that way I can just very gently blend all of the clay together so it'll hold a little bit better before baking. And basically just tap it is my technique to get pieces to hold together a little bit better. I am also fixing the little gnome's mouth, and that's a wrap. And this little gnome, I feel, is ready for cleanup and baking.
Thanks for watching!